But going back to BMs, you worked for BM for how long? In
Yeah, so I was with
ACC. That was only ACC. Right?
Yes, I was with BMW
And
for...
you were in marketing primarily,
Yeah, because they moved.
product special.
So the product specialist or product planning position was originally in sales. So I was working under the late Hill Balderas first, and then I was moved to marketing because Glenn Dassig took over, and he absorbed product planning because it was something that was second nature to him. So I worked with him and Carl Magsusi. Those were my bosses in BMW. I stayed there for, I think, 2 years. So I was doing what I wanted to do, or what my dream was, which was to play with a configurator and see it come to life, basically. I was young, it's 20, 23 years old.
We're about the same age, because when
Yes.
we met, I think I was also 22,
There you
23.
go. So I'm 35 now.
Oh yeah, so I'm 34 now.
Oh, there you go.
okay.
So roughly the same age.
Yeah.
We did. I learned the hard way that, of course, for me, it was all passion, passion, passion. And BMW even had banners about passion and all of these things. So I thought it was going to be just me making cars, speccing them in colors and wheels and trim and different kinds of leather that I felt people would want. And my bosses, Glenn and Carl, were very quick to say that there's a science behind what you're supposed to be doing, which is finding a spot or a space for the vehicles that we're going to sell. So I never understood kasi why some BMWs we had did not have paddle shifters. As a car person, I was like, but a Toyota Altis has it. A BMW most certainly should. And Glenn would talk about, no, because it's an entry-level BM, you want people to aspire for maybe from a 318 to a 320. Then you put the paddle shifters, but keep the wheels at 18 inches so that somebody who wants 19s might want to go for a 328 or a 335 at the time.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the business side that I could not grasp at the time. All I wanted to do was make beautiful cars, aspirational vehicles, say. And those, I think, were called Heya models, if I'm not mistaken. Those were like the press cars that would come and then they sell. There are 2 units of that look, super dressed.
Halo
model, yes.
Halo models.
The Halo model. So that's what I was taught. So he said, Glenn said, for the 318s, keep them at black, white, silver. Keep the Malalanda colors for the more exciting stuff like the Z4 or, which made sense to me as I got,
the business side of
yes,
things.
because
you can't be too passionate or idealistic.
So unlike you, it
has to make sense also.
Yes, I had no exposure on the business part. I was just a passionate car guy, boy, so I just wanted to make.
Yeah, but I think you're in the right position at that time because it was focused on the product.
Yes.
I remember you vividly. Yeah, you were very passionate about presenting the cars.
Yes,
I think you
that was my job.
Mastered the specs.
Yeah.
You had this thorough presentation and it was very properly executed.
Yeah, which is actually terrible because I had to learn everything there. When I stepped into the job, I didn't even know how to use Excel. One time Glenn saw me doing an Excel sheet for him, and I had using my phone calculator. I didn't know how to put the plus stuff, and there was this thing called VLOOKUP, and I was like, didn't understand the language. So the work part was where I struggled. The passion part was there. So when they were asking me questions about why I felt this model had to be such or why this was the placement for that, I could answer it, and 90% of the time my answer was right. But how I arrived there was the problem, because they needed to see a business model, which I didn't. It's like a person cooking in the kitchen and doing it all by feel with no no cookbook,
So you
no
had to
guide.
develop those skills?
He had to teach those skills, but I didn't stay long enough to learn. I was also stubborn in that sense, and I was just like, then if this is what it's gonna be like, and it had to be
Yeah. But I think
systematic.
that also depends, right? Because you can focus on your strengths and
Of course.
like example, like someone's like Michael Jordan excels in basketball, so he just needs to nurture his skills.
Absolutely.
Whereas if you throw him in, let's say, dancing or some other field, of course he'd have a tough time. So,
That's true. Basically, but people like Michael Jordan, they have a God-given talent, but at the same time, a superhuman drive to excel, and so they put in the work. I just wasn't mature enough to learn.